What's going on, YouTube, fam? It's your boy Tony 2 times, and we back with another episode of Hood Tales, man. Before I start, be sure to tap that like button. Definitely watch this video to the end to hear the full story and all the details in the case. For the day one, fam, y'all already know it's all love. Thanks for tuning back into another episode. If you're new to the channel and you feeling the content, feel free to subscribe. Definitely hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time we drop a new video. Let's get right into the story. Emotions. We all have them. Women, men, even babies and kids. It's really one of them things that makes us human and able to identify how we feel or even how the next person feels. If you walk in a room and see everybody having a good time and laughing, even if you are having a bad day, it might make you feel better, being around that good energy. We have different emotions. Sadness, maybe when you lose a loved one. Being happy, things might be going in your favor in life, making you feel that sense of joy. Anger also, that's one of those ones that makes a lot of people do things they probably normally wouldn't do. For example, you have a baby that's always smiling, calm, and happy. One day you tell them no, and they throw a temper tantrum, throwing things and doing stuff you know that's out their character. It surprises the parent, but that's not an issue, because as a parent, you correct that child and teach them the tools they will need to control their anger and get them emotions under control as they get older. But on the downside, you have grown men and women out here that never learned to control their emotions. We all have negative feelings from time to time, but how we deal with them can be the difference between life and death, freedom or prison. And on this episode of Hood Tales, we'll be taking it to Chicago, Illinois to discuss a case of a 12-year-old boy who lost his life because he laughed at his older brother's homeboy. Back in 2022, 12-year-old Marcel Wilson was living and growing up in the south side of Chicago, known to be a helper, helping out his mother, siblings around the house, even older people in the neighborhood with their groceries or household chores. Loving to tell jokes, he often got a kick out of making other people laugh. Considering himself a little comedian, Marcel lived in the 5500 block of South Aberdeen Street in the Inglewood section of the city with his family, including an older brother who we will call T. T had a homie that he knew and had been rotating with since the 3rd grade, 21-year-old Jerron Hughes. The two men usually hung together and spent time at each other's house, to the point T's mother and siblings called Jerron family, even little Marcel. Jerron was the father of 2 kids and was in a relationship, living with his girlfriend. The two were said to have an up and down, hot and cold kind of vibe, and often beef with each other. So when on January 2nd, 2021, Jerron called T, telling him like, yo, my girl put me out, bro. I need to come chill at your crib. It wasn't anything unusual. Being in the middle of the winter in Chicago, T didn't think twice about telling his homie to come through without even running it by his mother first, as it was late. When Jerron arrived to the house, T instead snuck him into a bedroom where him and his siblings were hanging out at. Inside the room was Marcel and his 13-year-old sister, and now T and Jerron. Marcel and his sister were sitting on the bed playing a game, laughing and geeking. T had his headphones in on the phone, giving Jerron a minute to cool off because he was mad about the recent fallout with his girl. In an attempt to make things right, Jerron FaceTimed the young lady, who we will call Sierra, asking her like, why we beefing and I want to come home, but she wasn't going for it. The conversation caught the attention of little Marcel. Always wanting to make people laugh, he started to joke with Jerron, like, dang bro, your girl put you out? That's messed up, making light of the situation, as him and his sister laughed about it. T bopped out the room on the phone. After Marcel made a few more jokes, Jerron would get serious and pull out a blick, stating don't say nothing else. Marcel and his sister told Jerron, like, bro, it's not even that serious, put the gun up. But then Jerron cocked it, pointed at Marcel's chest, and pulled the trigger. T, who heard the shot, ran in the room to find his little brother, who ran past him, heading to his mother's room, holding his chest, screaming he shot me, before collapsing at his mother's room door. T applied pressure to his brother's wound, while his homie Jerron walked to the room, gun in hand, picked up a shell casing, ran past Marcel and T without saying anything. CPD was called to the home. When they arrived, they transported Marcel to a local hospital, where unfortunately he would pass away from his injuries. Back at the home, police spoke with T and his little sister. She stated Jerron had the gun when he came in, but she didn't pay it no mind until he pulled it out. In the room, they found the shell casing, and outside, a shoe. In the other shell casing Jerron picked up out the room, he had dropped it in the alley. They followed footprints until they stopped. Back in the home, they realized Jerron left his jacket and cell phone. As police got more information, it was deemed a grown man shot a little boy for laughing at him. A warrant was put out for Jerron, and detectives searched his cell phone, going to social media, seeing messages Jerron sent to Sierra, saying, "See, now my life is over." Detectives reached out to the young lady, who stated yes, she was on the phone that day and saw Jerron pull out the same gun he always had, a 9mm with an extended clip. Police got a tip Jerron had fled to a family member's house in Racine, Wisconsin. On January 14th, he was tracked down, taken into custody, and extradited back to Chicago, charged with first-degree murder, held without bail. As of now, the case hasn't made its way to trial yet, and Jerron is innocent until proven otherwise. Rest in peace to Marcel. I send my prayers and condolences to his family, especially his sister who had to witness that, as she was sitting right beside him. I know T was hurt as well. Your homie shot your little brother after you let him in a home and trusted him. I pray they can heal from their trauma and loss. Jerron, in my opinion, was in his feelings, emotional about the fight with Sierra. Marcel and him probably joked all the time, but on this day, he allegedly upped the blick on a child for laughing at him. Jerron is a grown man with 2 kids of his own and couldn't control his anger. Fellas, as men, I know we are human, but we gotta work on all that overly emotional stuff because it never ends well. Learning how to understand a feeling is just that, a feeling, meaning it will eventually go away. Could be the difference between taking a life or losing yours. Jerron could have laughed with Marcel like, "Little bro, you crazy," and walked out the room, finishing his conversation. But he wanted compassion from Sierra and did something irrational out of anger and seeking attention. Now he facing life in prison because of emotions. So remember, we got to succeed, not to fail, so we won't be just another hood tale. Man, crazy story. Rest in peace, Marcel. Y'all let me know what y'all think about the situation in the comments. I appreciate you if you made it to the end. Y'all already know it's all love, fam. This is another episode of Hood Tales. This your boy Tony 2 times. I'm out.